Welcome back, everyone, to another segment of the MCR. My name's TJ, going solo. Please like, share, and subscribe. We're on multiple platforms: YouTube, BitChute, Rumble. We're on Wimkin, Truth Social, and I'm missing a couple others, but we're out there. You should be able to find us. In my last solo, I talked about how this country is in dire need of a spiritual awakening. I referenced the depths of depravity we've allowed this society to stoop to. I honestly believe while there's proactive measures that we could be taken, such as hardening the schools, the heart of this issue is the soul. We've lost our soul in this country. In this segment, I'd like to reflect on the words of a Democrat operative, Rahm Emanuel, regarding the Democrats' efforts to enact gun control legislation. They're coming after us. In an interview, Rahm Emanuel once said, "Never let a good crisis go to waste." As I was kind of researching that, what I found was it was linked to Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, in which he kind of says the same thing, perhaps not word for word, but basically, don't waste a good crisis to enact what you want to enact. But as I was researching this, I found out that this goes back 500 years to a man by the name of Niccolo Machiavelli. And there's the term, some may or may not have heard this, Machiavellianism. I know I've referenced it a couple times in my videos, Machiavellianism. One of my professors once, in describing Machiavellianism, said might makes right. The end justifies the means. Machiavelli was a political commentator during the Renaissance era. In 1513, it appears he was an atheist, or really had no love of God, turned away from God, a political commentator of that day, and he wrote The Prince in an effort to ingratiate himself with a Florentine prince from the Medici family. At that time, the Italian peninsula did not exist as the country of Italy as we know today. It constituted a group of city-states who they always seemed to be fighting each other, let alone the rest of Europe. But Machiavelli, he had a premise of never wasting a good crisis. And Machiavellianism does go hand in hand with the way the Democrats do things, especially when it comes to enacting their gun control and their efforts to deny everything else regarding our liberties. Machiavelli also wrote a couple other things that I'd like to reference. And this is a lengthy quote here from The Prince, written in 1513. And he begins with almost a rhetorical type of question. It is better to be loved rather than feared, or feared rather than loved? It might perhaps be answered that we should wish to be both, but since love and fear can hardly exist together, and here's the punchline. It is far safer to be feared than loved. Now, let me read the last part of that sentence again. It is far safer to be feared than loved. And remember, he was writing that to a Florentine prince in an effort to help him better govern. I really do believe that's in tune with the Democrats' modus operandi, as I like to say. But there's also another quote that the Democrats may not necessarily be in favor of. Also from the prince, Machiavelli writes, "The Swiss are well armed and very free." I'm not so sure the Democrats would embrace that phrase, that term, that philosophy. But I guess you pick and choose what you're going to embrace and what you'll put aside. In my next segment, because I'm going to wrap it up now, but in my next segment, I'm going to share my thoughts on that phrase, "The Swiss are well armed and very free." Because this is something we need to give greater thought to, our side on the right. Because they're coming after us. Make no illusion. And they don't care. They being the Democrats. They're going to make us get with the program. They will make us fear them if we won't love them. So please come back for my next segment. Thanks for hanging tough, everyone. Thanks for letting me share my thoughts with you. And I've had to think about this for quite a while. Don't want to be misinterpreted or anything, taken out of context, which is probably going to happen anyways. But that's it for this one. Catch you in the next one. As always, be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.